A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to this week's first edition of the Evening Review. My name is Tewan Jobela, your host. As a matter of fact, I don't know whether I should call myself a host tonight because we are doing things slightly differently. We have a huge debate in the country about whether to get vaccinated or not, and if yes, which vaccine to use or not. So in this regard, we are tonight having a special coverage on vaccines put together by my colleague Yana Marie Smith, who went around town and spoke to a number of experts and also some people who got vaccinated to share their experiences. But prior to that, let's first look at today's front page of Namibian Sun.
It's harmful and it's becoming more harmful.
Desperation and fear is definitely what's driving a lot of the falsehoods, the hoaxes, the false treatments, the conspiracies.
Namibia's sluggish vaccine uptake has been fueled in part by a tsunami of COVID-19 related conspiracy theories, despite increasing scientific evidence that the vaccines are safe and effective. Experts say too little was done by authorities and the media to stem the tide of disinformation.
Well, little was done to counter this by our health authorities and by our major media organizations in this country. And here we are. Is it any wonder that people aren't believing what we are saying as the media in this country? What we're seeing now in terms of the spread of disinformation is very much preventable. A year ago, in July last year, July 2020, we published a paper, the IPPR, in which we pointed out that the spread of disinformation is just going to get worse as the pandemic goes on. The health authorities weren't responding to the communication information crisis that was developing. And media organizations weren't responding to the communication and information crisis that was busy developing. I mean, both health authorities and the media here dropped the ball on this. And one of the recommendations we made was, you need to be where your audiences are, where they are encountering the falsehoods. You need to be there and debunking those falsehoods as your audiences are seeing them.
While last year the theories about Bill Gates and the pandemic, could be dismissed as crazy, this year I think with the theories around the vaccinations, that's genuinely harmful because it's actually deterring people from taking the option, which is obviously the best option in terms of their personal health, but also the best option in terms of Namibia eventually emerging from this pandemic crisis. And so it's harmful in a very direct way because it's deterring people from vaccination, and it's also perhaps encouraging them to do things which could delay them getting treatment. I think it is costing lives, definitely. And that's why those of us in the information game, whether civil society or media, have to kind of try to increase our activities and our performance and do better to try and make sure people do have the accurate information.
We have a crisis of trust, and the crisis of trust is in the media, it's in health authorities. People aren't believing what is the information, the credible information that has been put out there, because people have been exposed to falsehoods and lies for over a year, and nothing was done, or little was done, to counter this. There is definitely desperation in the air, and a lot of what we're seeing, a lot of the unproven remedies, a lot of the unproven treatments, a lot of the unproven cures that people are forwarding each other and sharing around. This is what desperation looks like. People are afraid, not just in terms of their health. People are afraid in terms of their livelihoods. People are afraid in terms of their jobs and their business.
To some extent, like we all are, a bit fearful and confused. And people are looking for quick answers, quick solutions. Could be something relatively harmless, like a particular remedy or concoction or steaming, which, are not answers in medical terms, but they might have some useful benefits, and certainly they're not necessarily harmful. But the problem is when they become seen as the answer, or the cure in some way, which we don't have.
I've seen how relationships have been frayed, have become tense. People aren't talking to each other. It's because of the disinformation, the falsehoods, the conspiracy theories, and this is what is making things even worse at a time we should be drawing together. We should be finding comfort in our familial ties and so on. But the lies and falsehoods are having a real world impact.
Of how we all need to come up with innovative ideas to communicate the main health messages around this pandemic. So it is too late, but we're in the middle of this crisis now. So it's, in that sense, it's not too late to still do something. There's so many people who are confused about this and who have sort of based their beliefs on some conspiracy theories or some way out sort of views that can't be supported by evidence. They find it difficult, I think, to backtrack now. But to be more positive, I do think, unfortunately now, of course, we're running out of vaccines. But my impression was in the last couple of weeks that the vaccination program was picking up and more people were going. And I think that was a sign that some of this work is having an effect. And that those people who wouldn't come on Facebook and say, "Oh, I've changed my mind," but they will actually personally decide, okay, I'm going to go and queue. The work that we are doing in the media, civil society, and the First Lady, again, has come on quite late, but very forcefully, and I think quite effectively.
In some sense, we can't draw this back. I mean, this will play out, and people will have to, come to their senses by themselves in all the grief and turmoil that is still to unfold here. But there's still things we can do at this point. Stick to the truth, stick to the fact. Make sure that we consistently broadcast and publish important information that people should know. You'll have to make it accessible. You have to translate it into languages. It's all hands on deck at the moment, because this will continue for as long as COVID-19 hits us in waves, and people are dying and people are getting sick.
How did you overcome your hesitancy?
I stopped listening to social media. I stopped taking in negative information, and that helped me to overcome.
Because previously I was misinformed. I thought there was something better about the vaccine, but I consulted 2 different doctors, and they made me realize that our best chance of surviving this pandemic is through vaccination. That's why I'm here. And I'm also encouraging everyone who wants to be vaccinated to go ahead and do it. Don't listen to social media. They're full of crap, and that's not the way to go.